the proceedings of the court so far. And today was pretty good. We had to adopt our final written addresses, and the court was gracious enough to grant counsels 15 minutes to add-on breaks. And all counsels were able to utilize their times. And for us, we were pleased as a petitioner that counsels were able to agree with us that the testimonies by witnesses were in consonance with our prayers, that there was overvoting in several polling units, and there was incorrect collation of scores in several polling units, and that INEC failed to submit herself to her own guidelines. So altogether, we petitioned 756 polling units out of the 4,000 plus polling units. And we were glad to state before the tribunal in our deliberations that in the cases of Kennedy versus INEC, in the cases of Baba versus INEC, and also Johnson versus INEC, the Supreme Court concluded that the percentage of witnesses brought before the court does not determine the overall outcome, as long as the witnesses were able to substantiate the evidence. So for us, we are pleased with the proceedings, and we are hopeful that very soon we will hear from the Secretary of the Tribunal in the next date for the court's judgment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that was the PDP lawyer, one of the lawyers for PDP representing the litigant. This is about the Edo State Election Tribunal that's ongoing at the moment. And today was scheduled for them to bring in their final written argument for adoption. So what happens basically for the non-lawyers or the non-legal minds here is that after all their arguments, they will bring their final written argument to say, this is what we think, this is what we're arguing about. And then we will then confer that, and then the judges will hear, and they will then accept that as adoption. So what these PDP lawyer is saying that the argument was that according to APC said that PDP didn't have enough. PDP should have brought in the polling units reps for all the local government areas and all the different polling units. But PDP said to them that they're not even arguing about that. They're arguing at the ward level. Why are the numbers changing? The numbers change from whatever the numbers was, assuming they submitted 11. When they get to the ward level, it turns to 50 or 70 or 90. How is that changing at the ward level? And obviously, the PDP then argued as well that the document they submitted were INEC's certified true copies, which INEC had no objections over. So if the numbers that INEC is giving is different to what they are announcing, then something is wrong, that there's overvoting in a lot of the polling unit, a lot of the words, and the collation didn't go according to INEC's guidelines and regulations. But APC's argument was that they need to throw it out because it doesn't really fit for purpose, because they didn't have enough evidence to prove overvoting. Now, what will become the final outcome is from now on, it's just going to be when the judges will announce a date for judgment. So they'll take all this argument, they'll sit and deliberate over it, and they'll give the final judgment once they're done. And then that will be the case. So what is literally happening here right now is the final argument adoption. That's what happened today at the court. So if you're watching this for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. And please let us know what you think. Now, another side of the story is the fact that this corruption that is perpetuated in Nigeria and in our elections will not stop. Edo State election was completely mad with INEC's irregularities, INEC's corruption, APC's corruption, PDP's corruption. Because as you very well know, APC, PDP bought votes all over the place. So in wards where they find themselves strong, they rigged the election. So they rigged the smaller men out. So it now became the two big men fighting over who won the vote, who rigged the most, and who can prove that the other person rigged and we saw that you rigged and I won. Okay, so, and this is what is happening in Nigeria. These two political parties have literally turned Nigeria into a crime scene when it comes to election, especially. And then the judges now become their accomplices because they then certify where you can see where something is wrong. And it's overwhelmingly clear to the majority of everyone that's watched the story and followed the story so far. The judges become corrupt and accomplices in the process of satisfying the corrupt one. So here, whether APC wins or PDP wins, it's just one or two corrupt individuals who won. Now, the assertion coming from Edo State is that people voted for PDP. That's the assertion. But that's if you're from the PDP camp. But if you're neutral and maybe you wanted a Labour to win, you would argue as well that both parties were corrupt. It's just the fact that APC was able to rig better than PDP. That's just the argument. Okay. But for want of a better society, for want of a better country, for want of a better state, we have to make up our minds to push for the change that we want in 2027. Nigeria needs it. Edo State, for example, is blessed with so many natural resources, so much. But yet, I guarantee you, if you go into the villages, you'll see how poverty is written all over there. Because corrupt individuals are busy stealing from the people, stealing from the state. I think it's about time for us to make that decision and say, come 2027, we're going to stand our ground. We're going to stand our ground and make sure our votes count in the villages, in the hinterland, because there's so much poverty in our villages. And that's where our foods come from. So again, if you're watching this for the first time, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please subscribe to help us push this content out. Again, if you're watching this for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe so that YouTube can continue to, share this content and recommend this content for others as well. We want the change in Nigeria, and we want to have the change that we desire and that we deserve for a better country. And we will start to look at the courts as well from now on, because our judiciary has played a key role in destroying our nation. And again, you can see it is now the judiciary that is determining for those state people who their governor will be. Just the same way the judiciary decided for our house as a governor, for our president, and most of our lawmakers, and now the governor. And that has to change. And it starts with you and I. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye for now.